Hello everybody, it's Josie here. I'm back with another one of my charity shop Goodwill book hauls. So for those of you that haven't sort of seen me or heard me talk about this before, I love scouring secondhand shops. I love charity shops, I love Goodwill. I love kind of going around finding books specifically, but also clothes, anything that I love kind of that hunt and that scour. I love secondhand. I love the idea of recycling and renewing. I think we obviously have a lot of stuff on the planet, and the idea of getting things secondhand I really love. And it's really something that I'm trying to do even more of. And I guess for the rest of the year and kind of almost 2020 resolution is to really be even more focused on that and really try and not buy anything new unless I really need to. And try and be quite aware of what I'm buying, where I'm buying it from, the impact on the environment, on people, on everything really. Sounds very serious. It doesn't mean I'm never going to buy anything new. There are obviously new books that come out that I do want to read. There are obviously new clothes that I will buy, but just really kind of curbing that and focusing on trying to be as sustainable and kind of recyclable as I possibly can. So on that note, all of these books, bar one actually came from Amazon Marketplace, which I would say that's a great option as well. If you want to buy something, something specific and you can't, find it. Actually, I'm lying, 2 of these came from there. Something specific and you can't find it, but you can get it secondhand on Amazon. I think that's a great thing, that you're not necessarily buying a new copy, but you are buying a secondhand copy of something. And they're also, frankly, a lot cheaper than buying them new, even when they're new on Amazon. So I would highly recommend, getting the used copies instead of necessarily the new ones where you can. So I have been scouring and I found some more great things, and let me show you what I got. So the first one, this is one of my Marketplace buys, is Fire. So this is the second book in the Engelsforce trilogy, and it is basically a series about teenage witches and finding their power, so-called teenage witches. There's some great queer rep in here. It's translated from the Swedish, I believe, and it's set in Sweden, so it's kind of got a bit of that, I keep saying a bit of that kind of Scandi noir feel to it, which is quite nice, which is a bit different from your normal kind of witch supernatural YA books. And I'm not going to tell you too much about the plot because this basically carries on where the first one, The Circle, started, and the girls are in their second year of high school, or their second year of high school, and they're kind of fighting a demon, and apparently in this one things come back from the past, the past influencing the present, that kind of thing, which I love. Great big hunker of a book. This one I did get from Amazon because the first one I actually found randomly in a charity shop, and I have kind of been looking around, but it doesn't really work that way in terms of you can't necessarily find specific books that you're looking for. I really want to read the second one, so that's why I got it, but you can see it's a very well-loved copy, and I'm really looking forward to reading that one. Then the next one, and I've matched my outfit with the next 2 books because they're yellow, and I felt like I wanted some sunshine in my life. So this one, very bright yellow, is We Are Never Meeting in Real Life. And again, I found this one in a charity shop a couple of days ago, actually. And it's so weird because I've been looking at this book online, while, when kind of suggestions come up and they say, oh, if you've bought this or if you like this, you might like this. This came up, thought it sounded fantastic, have actually looked at it in Waterstones, kind of walked away because I was like, I've got too many books in my TBR. And then randomly, I was walking past a charity shop that I kind of usually pop into, walked in, this book is sitting on the shelf. I was like, that is incredible. So Samantha Irby writes, this is great. This is basically a collection of essays about Samantha's real life. And she is a queer lady. So this is a story, and what I love about it, and she is sort of a humorist and satirist and a writer. So these are kind of darkly funny, but it talks about things that have happened in her life, sort of romantic conquests and adventures and things. And what I love about this is Samantha Irby captures powerful emotional truths while chronicling the disaster that has been her life. It sounds quite funny. And then, you know, there's various things, like apparently she tried to she tried to put an application in for The Bachelorette, some really awkward sexual encounters, things like that. And I think it's going to be funny and interesting. And I think this, We're Never Meeting in Real Life, might refer to the fact that she did online dating as well, which again, I have tried very unsuccessfully not that long ago recently, and I will never do again. But I'd love to read about that if she has. So yeah, I think this is going to be funny and interesting, and she's pretty awesome. That's Samantha there, so I can't wait to read that, and I cannot believe that it just kind of magically appeared in my life when I needed it, like a lot of things seem to. Then this one here, Girl Power, this is my other marketplace find. So this is exactly what it says on the tin, the 90s revolution in music, and it basically talks about women in the 90s in music. It's non-fiction. So again, the early 90s, if you've listened to me talk recently, you'll know I love Right Girl. I'm a teenager of the 90s. I love all things 90s. And this, it just sounds fantastic, and I have to read about that, and I love it. Then the next one that I've got here is another charity shop find. And this one, along with, I think it was that one and that one. So I got 3 books, basically, from a charity shop for £1. They were doing a special offer, so that was really cool. So this one, Madame Zero by Sarah Hall, again, is one that I've looked at a couple of times, and actually I heard, and I'm trying to remember if it was Jen Campbell or Jean. It was one of the booktubers that I really love, was talking about this. Or it might have been Mercy's Bookish Musings, I don't know, or might have been a combination, who knows. I've heard this one mentioned a couple of times, and it is basically a collection of short stories, but they're kind of billed as very dark, sensuous, slightly otherworldly, kind of a bit weird, kind of a bit mixed up, and apparently it's supposed to be really, really good. And when I heard someone talking about it, I went and again, I looked it up, and I thought, oh, that looks really good, but I probably shouldn't buy any new books right now. I've got tons. And then I came across this in the charity shop on the 3 books for £1. So again, it's something that I was like, wow, I wanted this, and here it is sitting right in front of me, which I thought was kind of cool. And then the other book that I got in that, well, the other 2 that I got in that loop was this one over here. This is My Year of Rest and Relaxation by Otessa Moshfegh. And that's the front there. Or the back. This is a proof copy, actually, so that's why it looks, I think it looks a little bit odd, because it is a proof copy that someone probably shouldn't have put in the charger. Thank you. And again, this book has been around for a while. I've been wanting, it sounded interesting, so I've been wanting to read it. And weirdly, when I was in Waterstones the other day, I did see it sitting on the table, so I think they've just either re-released it or released it in soft cover from the hardback. But it's basically about this woman who, she decides that her goal in life is that she wants to sleep. And that's kind of what she wants to do for a year. So she goes to a psychiatrist, she gets all sorts of pills, downers and sleeping tablets and things to help her sleep. And her goal in life pretty much is just to sleep for a year. And it follows kind of her journey. It sounds fascinating, so I cannot wait to read that. So there's that one. And then the other one that I got in my 3 for £1 was this Dark Places by Gillian Flynn. Gillian Flynn, you may know most famously, she wrote Gone Girl, which I've read, I've watched the film, I really enjoyed Gone Girl. I know some people have varying opinions on it. I really enjoyed it, I liked it. This one is basically about a woman, I think Libby is her name, yeah. She testified against her 15-year-old brother, and he's been in jail ever since for committing a crime. And now, sort of years later, I think it's the Innocence Project comes to her, or the lawyer, or someone basically comes to her and says, we think your brother's innocent, and we want you to help us get him exonerated, basically. So she has to, go back to that time. She has to re-examine what she thought. She kind of has to go, well, did I do something really horrendous and put someone in jail, my brother in jail, for no good reason? So it's a thriller. Sounds really good. I've heard a couple of people actually say that this one is their favorite Gillian Flynn book. This is going to only be the second one that I've read. It's only Gone Girl that I've read, and I enjoyed that. So I'm kind of also in the mood for thrillers at the moment. I've just read Sadie. I've read a few that I really liked. So yeah, again, I'm looking forward to this, and that being in that, 3 for £1 was incredible. And then the next one is this one over here. This is another Otessa Moshfegh. I don't know someone could correct me. I don't know if I'm saying that name correctly, but a Tessa Marsh folk book, and this one's called Eileen. This one sounded interesting to me because on the back, it's leading up to Christmas. I kind of like the sort of bleak, well, not bleak, but the sort of snowstorm cover. And basically it's about Eileen. She she sounds very downtrodden. She cares for her alcoholic father. She kind of has a very dull, desperate life. And then she encounters this woman, Rebecca, and she sees her as this beautiful, charismatic, amazing woman. And I think it's going to be like about their friendship, and then something apparently happens. So it sounds really interesting. It sounds right up my alley. Two women, kind of messed up friendship, that sort of thing. Sounds great. Can't wait to get, stuck into that one. And then the last one is this beauty over here. So this is Patti Smith. So this is Lyrics, Notes, and Reflections. Now, I've actually done a whole video on Patti Smith, and I don't think I probably didn't include this, but maybe I'll refilm that and include this or not, we'll see. But I did recently do a video on Patti Smith because someone had asked me what my favorite book of all time was, and I really had to think about that. And when I thought about it for a while, I realized it was Just Kids by Patti Smith. And it's basically an autobiography of her time with Robert Mapplethorpe in the early 70s and her kind of ascent to stardom. And for those of you that don't know, Patti Smith is a writer, she's a musician, she's a poetess, she's a photographer, she's just an all-round badass, incredible woman. And this I found again I think it was in the Oxfam store, and this is gorgeous. It's basically got these gorgeous photos, it's got lyrics, it's got all the lyrics and the photos from her songs. And if you're I would say this is very much for kind of Patti Smith fans. If you're a Patti Smith fan, this is just an incredible, incredible book. So I couldn't believe when I saw that on the kind of the shelf, just sort of sitting there in the charity shop. And I think I paid like £4 or £5 for it. And it is gorgeous, and it feeds my obsession with Patti Smith and my kind of plethora of books that I have on her. So I was really excited to find that in a charity shop. Oh, I can't believe it. It's pretty cool. So anyway, and then, before I go, what I'm wearing. So this lovely balloon cap, which I'm kind of loving. I feel like I should be in the East End. But this I found in Snooper's Paradise in Brighton, which is kind of like this crazy jumble of secondhand and handcrafted, and I believe this is kind of handmade by like a small firm, so this is not, intensely manufactured. And then this top, and I'll stand up a little bit so you can see the get the whole full package there. This top I've actually had for years, and it's Jean-Paul Gaultier, and I found this in a charity shop, and it's pure silk, Jean-Paul Gaultier top, I believe from either the 90s or the late 80s, but it's just gorgeous. You can kind of just wear it as a vest, you can wear it as this top, and it's a beautiful kind of summery thing, and I love it, and I've had it for years, and I actually kind of forgot that I had it, and I've just switched over to my summer wardrobe, and I saw it, and I was just like, oh god, this is probably one of the best finds that I've ever had in a charity shop. You don't come across much Jean-Paul Gaultier for like a rock bottom price. And I mean, it cost me, I think it was only a few pounds. It was insanely cheap. And then when I saw what it was, I was like, oh my God, this is incredible. Vintage Jean-Paul Gaultier. So anyway, yes. So that's like sometimes what you can find. I would say that's 1 in a million, but yeah, that's sometimes what you can find secondhand. So thanks for listening to me. Again, let me know if you've read any of these books, what you think of them. Let me know if you have any recommendations based on what I like, and let me know about your kind of finds in charity shops and kind of adventures. So I will speak to you all again very soon. Bye-bye.